Hello, and welcome to this edition of the EMS Spotlight, where we speak to EMS executives about their companies and the industries in which they operate. Our guest on this episode today is Nirmal Vasani. Nirmal is the Global Chief Operating Officer for the Aimtron Group of Companies. Uh, Listen, I do just by introduction because there's some news and that's why we're speaking today. Let me just put Aimtron in context because the story is beyond that. Aimtron is we all know as an EMS with facilities both in the United States and India. Uh, I happened to have visited their facility in Gujarat on my India tour last year. I was pleased to do that. And Aimtron is also a group of companies which all kind of electronics related. Um, Nirmal, did I get all that right or did I miss anything?
Just to give some additional background about the industry, because I'm sure a lot of viewers for this interview will probably not be very familiar with EMS as an industry. What we do is we manufacture electronics as a service for other businesses. And so any sort of electronics that you see out in the open, in the field, in the wild, you'll see that it has a little circuit card inside, and we do that circuit card assembly. So we would buy all the components, and very much like very complex adult Legos, we'd put it all together, wrap it in a nice little package, and then make sure it gets to you safe and sound. That's Aimtron's business in a nutshell. We have facilities all over Asia, all over the United States, and I'm very happy to discuss a little bit about our newest facility that we just onboarded right now.
Yeah, no, excellent. Let's get right to it because that's the news. Aimtron just announced that they've acquired a US-based company. It was named International Controls Services, or ICS, in
Yeah,
Decatur, Illinois, as well. ICS was founded, it was an EMS started in 1992, I believe. They have about a 58,000 square foot facility there in Decatur, Illinois. And according to the press release, they did around $17 million in revenue this past year. Um, a good size EMS and some interesting things. I know that they call themselves an ESDM, Electronic System Design and Manufacturing Company, and also ODM. They're doing
yeah,
original design manufacturing. So I'll want to ask about that too. But let's start 10,000 feet first. What was
sure.
it about ICS that made it an attractive acquisition for Aimtron?
Yeah. And that's a very, very important question to ask because prior to ICS, I had actually personally evaluated about seven acquisition opportunities.
Oh, wow.
That's exactly the reaction that I get. It's a slight raise of the eyebrows. That seems like a very high number. How did you go through so many without actually closing on one? And what I was always looking for is the right cultural fit. Um,
Mm,
any company can build really good lines. Any company can have really good numbers on paper. Any company can build a really good exterior image or a really good customer base. But when you talk to the people on the floor, you get a sense of how happy they are. When you talk to the people on the floor, you get a sense of how motivated they are, whether they like being there or not,
mm,
how important this career is for them. And every single person I met at ICS was extremely excited, and they were looking for opportunities to grow. Um, I have never seen a shop floor and a management staff that was so deeply keen on actually becoming better versions of themselves, that were so deeply keen on finding opportunities to grow themselves and the business. And Unfortunately, the business was in a place where previous ownership had to prioritize on other things that were going on. And so a lot of the opportunities that they may have had to grow and a lot of the opportunities that they may have had to improve were unfortunately not a priority for them at the time.
mm.
And They were very, very happy to see that Aimtron could potentially give them that opportunity to continue their growth path, to continue basically improving as a company, to give them more service offerings, things like that.
Yeah.
Um, the other really, really interesting part about ICS is their specialization, and that specialization is rugged electronics. Um, Normally, you think of electronics as a pretty delicate item,
Mm,
but we often forget that they're used in almost every single application under the sun, including those that are literally under the sun. So
Mm.
outdoor applications, things that are in automotive, things that are in aero or aerospace or just space, um, things that are used in agriculture or very harsh environments, environments that include chemicals, environments that include submersion, immersion. All of these things are very detrimental to an electronics product, of course. What they have done is specialized on producing designs that are well equipped to withstand those harsh conditions. And
Mm.
that specialization of that rugged technology, what we call hardened electronics, that is extremely important to growing the service offering that Aimtron has, not only with existing customers, but it opens up entirely new customer bases for us.
Yeah. And I was going to ask that, you know, how much overlap there was and how much of it allows you to expand into new markets. And it sounds like
Yeah,
it's a nice expansion opportunity here for you.
it is. And it's really refreshing when that expansion is not just an on-paper expansion. It's really refreshing when that expansion also allows us to have new capabilities, new service offerings that we can have. And when a partner that we work with is specialized in something, then we can be very, very certain in their expertise. We can be very, very certain in their technical capabilities to produce. And what we can do as a company is to give them the opportunity to scale that even further, to allow them to take on larger opportunities that they may not have been able to bid on in the past because of capacity issues or because of funding issues. We're allowed to sort of clear those hurdles away for them
Yeah.
and take on these larger opportunities that really require this sort of service. And the market appetite for this is quite large. A lot of our applications are now in high moisture environments. A lot of our applications are now in outdoor environments, especially as we see a lot more of a focus on global shifts towards energy, towards oil and gas, towards outdoor applications, towards agriculture. And agriculture continues to be a technology focused field, especially in
Mhm.
the United States. All of these applications have extremely harsh, high variance conditions, and ICS had really good systems and processes in place to be able to cater to them.
Yeah. And so tell me about the ODM component. I know that there's heavy engineering talent that within ICS, but
Yes.
they talk about their proprietary IP, which is original design menu. What is that?
So a lot of their IP is specific to certain platforms that they have worked with customers on, and they would develop custom solutions for customers that were looking for a board that would achieve X. I believe a lot of that is in the more agricultural technology fields, what we would consider agritech. And so they have developed quite a few boards for agritech. They've developed quite a few testing capabilities. They have very extensive test development and
Mhm.
product development capabilities as well. And all of those across various different industries, we're going to be very, very happy to sort of build on top of
Yeah.
and combine that with Aimtron's own development services that we offer. Um,
Mhm.
every single development team is a product of its experience. And
Mhm.
so every single development team has sort of been cultivated into a different niche compared to the next. And so
Mhm.
whenever you bring two separate industries together, whenever you bring two separate development teams together, chances are it's going to be a linear addition to what we can actually provide in terms of design service offerings. And so that technical expertise is going to be extremely helpful. ICS also has a tremendous amount of skill in being able to find the right alternatives without having to veer too far out of an AVL or by being able to work within a customer's AVL. They're able to find the right component swaps. They're able to find really good cost savings, really good lead time savings. And whatever the priority is, they have a very well established methodology of bomb scrubbing. And that combined with Aimtron's own opportunities for bomb scrubbing by seeing what parts both of us can find that can provide unique solutions to the challenges ahead, we can drastically increase the amount of solutions that we're offering on the material side as well.
Okay, very good. So as I look at this deal, and I read the press release that was sent over was from the India publication. And as I read it, I see the benefits as kind of you increase your physical presence here in the United States.
Mhm.
You're strengthening your engineering and your service offerings as you just indicated. I see it as really enhanced customer responsiveness too, because you're right there in the heart of it. I think the
Yeah,
location, you're able to quickly, and all of this with the ability to still leverage your Indian manufacturing strength and what you have overseas. So,
yeah.
what other synergies are there that make this a good deal for Aimtron?
So the Midwest is actually quite a large space. Um, it's quite a lot of geographic land. I mean, when you think about it as one region, it often seems like, oh, you can have one company that can service the entire Midwest. And while that's true, ICS, the location in Decatur, Illinois, gives us much better access to places like Springfield, much better access to places like St. Louis, much better access to places in sort of the southern part of the Midwest, even going down all the way to Tulsa. We just have better geographical presence to support customers that are looking for something a bit more local. It's also close enough to where Aimtron can keep a very integrated eye on things, keep a very close watch on things. And for me personally, the benefit is that I'll be able to travel there quite regularly
Mhm.
without having to sacrifice much time. And so it'll be a very easy thing for me to just bounce back and forth between the two facilities, but still have an extended reach in that sense. So geographically, that location is very nice for those reasons.
Yeah.
From a bit more of a geopolitical reason, the United States has now for the last probably the last 6 months or so, been very strong on this Build America, Buy America, what we would call the BABA movement.
Mhm.
It's been very focused on using that as a way to increase the amount of manufacturing expertise that we have in the United States. The expertise was always there. I think what had happened is that larger projects and more labor intensive projects would always sort of go outside of the United States to lower labor countries. And now that the tides of that are changing, looking at an acquisition opportunity in the United States allows us to really rapidly respond to those changes. And so we can keep up with the increase in demand that BABA movement is going to bring along.
Yeah, I like that Baba movement. Um, Listen, it's a great acquisition, it sounds like, but there's two parts to every, there's the acquisition and then there's the integration. So you've achieved the first part. So let's talk about the integration side. And we were joking before, it's already started.
Yeah,
It will now be known as Aimtron International Controls,
that is correct.
AIC. It's already on the website, I noticed. So it's been rebranded. That's happening. But how do you envision the integration progressing in terms of kind of the people, the systems, and the customers?
Yeah, so their ERP, MRP systems, their accounting processes, their operational processes, it was very clear to us that there haven't been much upgrades or improvements to them
Mm,
over the years, especially at the root level, right? They were basically fixing the issues within their existing suite by adding more software suites in order to like put a band-aid on top of things. And what we can do is we can take all of these different programs and bring it right back down to what we primarily use as our ERP MRP system. And so what we're using is fortunately a lot more powerful. It's a lot more modern. It's much more capable. And so by bringing them onto our system, we're able to really leverage the strength of what an ERP MRP can do for them and start managing by data accordingly, which right now they don't really have the ability to do as much as they would like. That integration is definitely not going to be something overnight. I suspect the next time we talk, I'll have quite a few fewer hairs. Um,
or
but
grayer, right? So,
whichever direction I decide to go.
yeah.
Um, but what is heartening to see is that they do have quite a bit of strong IT expertise, quite a bit of strong engineering expertise, some strong process expertise. And so the team that is there, we feel highly confident that they're going to be able to work with us and ensure that this transition happens smoothly. The integration itself will be very multifaceted. We'll start by getting the systems up and running first, and then we'll transfer our documentation processes, and then it'll be our entire QMS, our entire quality management system that migrates over. And by the time that that happens, essentially there'll be a mirror image of Aimtron. And so that sort of three-phase prospect that you see, we feel very confident that we can do that this year.
Okay. And I notice a commonality in the names of the two people from ICS. Was this a family-owned business as well?
Yes. So Dennis Espinoza was the owner of ICS before we acquired it. Chris Espinoza, their VP of sales, was a part of the ownership family. I, I don't want to get into specifics regarding stake or anything like that,
No, no,
but
no.
Aimtron did do a 100% acquisition, so it is a wholly owned subsidiary.
Yeah.
Um,
But are they staying on then, I'm assuming, and continuing?
Chris is. Dennis is going to take this opportunity to move on towards a much well-deserved retirement. He's worked very hard over the years to get ICS to where it was. And so we're going to definitely give him a break. He's going to be on board to help us out for the first couple of months, and then after that, he'll be advising us on any matters that pop up. But uh, Chris, the VP of sales over at ICS, he is highly motivated. He has expressed a lot of excitement to continue with us. And fortunately, he seems to share in the same cultural values that Aimtron was sort of looking at within ICS. He's expressed that he sees similar things in Aimtron. And that on its own is extremely heartening to see. I think um, so many acquisitions, so many of these mergers that we see are done because of optics or because of how it looks on paper. And the culture is really the most important piece that I think far too often too many people forget.
No, that's excellent insight. I was going to ask you about culture, but you spoke to it kind of just naturally there, which is good. So this is great news. I think this is great news for Aimtron. I think it's good. It's good for the EMS industry too, I think, because
Absolutely.
you have there somebody in ICS, as I've learned from you here in this discussion, somebody that was an older EMS doing fantastic work, serving customers well, who benefits as well from from the acquisition and their ability to continue to service those customers and to still continue to do good work for the EMS industry in North America. So
Yeah.
I think that's all good news here today.
Yeah. And I'm very, very excited to welcome almost 100 new faces to the Aimtron family. It's quite a daunting responsibility to know that like our success is also sort of what is going to be the livelihood of about 100 families that we're uh, servicing, that we're helping, that we're employing. And so ensuring that we are successful is good not only for the local community, not only for Aimtron, but for everyone that is joining us as well. And so we're very grateful for the tremendous faith and the trust that they have placed in us, and for just the overall excitement that they've expressed in being a part of the Aimtron family.
Yeah. I like the way you characterize that. That's a testament. I like that very much about recognizing the families behind it, because oftentimes that does get forgotten. So,
Yeah.
um, thank you. Thank you for your time today. Thanks for sharing this news with us. Hopefully, you'll come on again and we can talk about this again. You won't have too many gray hairs. And who knows? Maybe some more news in the future. Maybe Aimtron continues to grow and you get to go consider some other companies to
Yeah.
acquire. So,
So our acquisition journey is definitely not over. That discussion is still ongoing. There are future opportunities that will be and are being evaluated at the moment, but until we get closer to that, it's probably premature for me to say much more.
I'm sure it is. But listen, 2026 is starting well for Aimtron, and I congratulate you on that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Very good. Thanks for sharing. We'll talk to you again in the future.
Thank you for your time, Eric. It was a great conversation.
Thank you.